Alright. Alright, okay, so this is where we are. So this is after the Fury attack, and Ito, Saito, Heisuke, Miki left. Alright, that's where we left off. Ooh, boy. My wound healed completely soon afterward, but I kept the bandages on. Yeah, number one. I didn't want anyone to see that my scar had healed. Since Ito, Heisuke, and Saito all left, the compounds felt so much larger and emptier. Around the same time, Takeda, one of the captains of the Shinsengumi, had also left. I guess these are things we can't help, but it felt as if everyone was going in different directions, off to forge their own paths. I couldn't help but feel sad about it. July 1867. July 1867. 3 months had passed since Ito had left the Shinsengumi, taking his men and others with him. Late one evening... Oh... I think we can skip this, because this is just... If I remember. Late one evening, I laid in my warm futon at an hour where I should have been asleep, but... I was tossing and turning in my bed. My mind was wide awake. I wasn't falling asleep anytime soon. But why? I was nervous, certainly. And I trained earlier that day, but neither of those was anything new. I needed to get to sleep soon, or I'd oversleep in the morning, and that would be embarrassing. As I forced my eyes shut for the 1000th time, I heard someone calling out for me. Yukimura, まだ起きてるか? See, now I can't get it out of my head the fact that Hijikata's voice actor is also the voice actor of James from Pokemon. In the original Japanese version, anyway. I can't get that out of my head. Ah! The voice outside belonged to Hijikata. And they're both purple! Oh, God. The answer is yes. We're not safe. And now... There we go, swords. Shimada's here to protect us! I will never not be excited whenever we have Shimada on screen. Shimada deserves his own route. Shimada deserves justice. The door opened as Shimada stepped in. Actually, what are these choices? Okay. His eyes started back and forth nervously and his body was tense. Has something happened?
Hi. Oni-tachi ga Tonsho ni shugeki o kakete kimashita.
Yeah, yelling is happening a lot today. What?
奴らの狙いは君です。この部屋でじっとしていてください。
Whether I'm going to take action or not, whether I'm going to take action or not, I first find out why. There's a word missing in this. Holy shit! I noticed. Huh. Whether I'm going to take action or not, I need to first find out why this was all happening in the first place. So, even though I had probably looked visibly shaken, I approached Shimada to ask a question. Shimada, what is it like on the outside right now?
今は大使たちが順次迎撃に出ています。しかし、君もよく知っての通り、奴らの強さは尋常なものではない。率直に言って、奴らがいつここにやってきてもおかしくありません。
Then... Oh, this might... No, actually it might not be different. It could be or it might not be different. Just as I was about to ask Shimada what I should do in the event of their arrival, I heard footsteps approaching our room. Shimada, someone is coming!
分かっています。下がっていてください。
I placed my hand over the hilt of my kodachi, but it was trembling. If the person barging into our room were to be an ally, me swinging my sword around would probably do me no good. I knew this deep down, but I had to brace myself to become strong in this moment, and finally the door slid open.
Yukimura senpai! 無事ですか?
Soma! Soma, what are you doing here? That is a question Shizuru says a lot.
敵の襲撃と聞いたので、雪村先輩を探していたんです。もし何かあったらと心配したけど、無事のようでほっとしました。
I'm glad you're safe too. Both of us seemed to be relieved upon seeing each other, but now wasn't the time to let our guards down. Shimada had been scoping the area out from behind the opening of the window, and he gave orders to Souma.
相馬くん、ちょうどいいところに来てくれた。俺はこれから周囲の安全確認と他の大使たちの援護に向かいます。その間、ここで雪村くんの護衛を頼めるか。
はい、もちろんです。そのつもりで来ましたから。
Honestly, I thought you'd probably go to Kondo-san because you're his page, but alright! Shimada nodded, looked around the room, and ran off. As he left, I gripped my hands together to pray for everyone's safety. If what Sen said was true, then Kazuma would be after me. If that were the case, then this battle would likely have nothing to do with the Shinsengumi. It was disorienting to think that despite being the cause of all this fighting, all I could do was hide and stay out of everyone's way.
雪村先輩、そんな顔をしないでください。大使の皆さんなら心配いりません。剣の強さはよく知っているでしょう。
Well, yes, I do, but...
なら信じてください。襲撃者が何者であろうと、幹部の方々が引けを取るはずがないと。
Souma stooped down to meet my eye level, and he shined a bright smile. Even though he was younger than me, he looked quite mature. Wait, what? Souma's younger? Huh? Yo, usually all the other boys are older than Chizuru, but Souma is younger? Huh? Alright.
それに、こうして俺が先輩のそばについていますから。幹部の皆さんほどの実力はないけど、決して敵を前に引いたりしません。
Kazuma, Amagiri, and Shiranui. These three who called themselves demons were all enemies capable of overpowering the captains. If Souma were to cross swords with one of them, there's no telling which way it could go. However, Souma's words were so warm and powerful that all of those worries were just blown away. Thank you so much, Souma. To be quite honest, I felt a little uneasy. I personally can't attest to how dangerous these intruders are. But it's all right now. I'm so glad you're here with me.
いえ、俺は当然のことを言ったまでです。
Puppy energy, I swear. For some reason, he was flustered and shook his head, and he took a deep breath to calm himself. We listened carefully and looked to our left to make sure we were safe.
外が静かになったと思いませんか?
Don't say it like that. Come to think of it, you're right. I don't hear any swords clashing. Maybe the men were able to drive the demons away.
俺が様子を見てきます。 先輩はここで待っていてください。
I had known it was dangerous to move, but I couldn't just sit here all day. Besides, if things really had settled down, there may be many injured that I need to treat as soon as possible. No, I'll go too. Let's go together. We used the moonlight to watch our steps as we stepped into the night compound. Ever since we'd arrived at the Nishihonwanji temple, I'd taken the effort to familiarize myself, but for some reason, tonight, in this light, it felt as if we'd stumble into a foreign land.
俺のそばから離れないでください、雪村先輩。
Please, be careful, Souma. As Souma led the way, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something lurking in the darkness. Something had felt quite off. There were no signs of battle around us. Seems like no one is around.
いえ、わずかですが、人の気配がします。
Just as he said that, the sounds of gravel and suddenly under footsteps startled us, and we saw shadows creeping towards us. Oh, that's not good. What we had just seen was a silhouette of a person I'd wanted to see least in the entire world. You're... Ah, fuck, the bitch is back.
ようやく見つけたぞ、鬼の娘。こんなところに隠れていたとはな。
I have never heard Kazuma say demon girl.
さあ、来るがいい。お前の居場所は我が元にしかない。
I've already told you, I refuse.
あんたが襲撃者か。何者か知らないが、勝手なことを。なぜ豚書を狙ってきた。それと、雪村先輩をどうするつもりだ。
Above us was the glow of the bright moon, and Souma's sword glimmering from its light. However, Kazuma scoffed his questions off, looking completely unnerved by Souma's stance.
消えろ、ゲロウが。貴様のごとき虫けらに用などない。
Souma, get back! He's not a Norma! Kazuma became agitated and suddenly he hit Souma with a surprise attack.
なんだこの力は。
話にならんな。虫けら風情。よくも俺の邪魔してくれる。
Kazuma slashed at Souma relentlessly. He struggled to defend against all of Kazuma's blows. Soon he fell to his knees out of exhaustion. There was no fooling in the gap of skill, as Souma had failed to intercept or block any move fully.
Naze なぜ引かぬ。この女を守れと命令でもされたか。
Holy shit, Souma!
それともくだらん武士の誇りとやらのためか。いい悲鳴だ。この様子では次の一撃でおそらく死ぬぞ。せっかくだ。死ぬ前に聞かせるがいい。貴様が無駄に命を懸ける理由。
それ命令じゃない。約束だから。誇りのためだから。
やはりそれか。くだらん。
Oops.
貴様らはいつでもそうだ。くだらん誇りとやらにしがみついて何も見出せぬまま無駄に死んでゆく。
I think this is the most brutal version we've seen of this scene ever. Holy shit.
貴様も所詮は現実の見えないうぞうむぞうの一人ということか。
Cosmo sneered with disinterest, and he flicked his arm up with his sword in his hand.
貴様にはもう会えた。さっさと死ね。
No follow up? Okay. Souma flew back, slamming onto the floor, and Cosmo didn't look fazed in the least.
邪魔な虫はこれで消えた。さあ、我らのあるべき場所に。言っておくが、人間どもの助けを期待しているなら無駄なことだ。人間にしては少しばかり腕が立つ連中にしたところで、天霧と白縫いの相手をしている最中。今頃は次々と無残に殺されている頃だろう。いい顔だ。自分のせいで虫けらが死んでいく気分はどうだ。お前をかくまおうなどと考えなければ、奴らも寿命を縮めずに済んだだろうね。
So, is it really all my fault? I became lightheaded as I began to panic. I just wanted to collapse and faint. Cosmo then grabbed my shoulders, and he whispered into my ears, but his voice was oddly compassionate and warm.
心を痛める必要など。人間どもは、所詮我ら鬼とは違う存在。
I'm sorry, Cosmo, I barely heard that because your voice is so goddamn low, even though your voice lines are all the way up on high.
人が虫を潰すのと同じことだ。お前が気に病むことだ。
Who said... I was going to go with you! I've already told you, I'm not going anywhere!
虚勢を張るなら、せめて体の震えぐらい止めてから言うのだ。
Cosmo's hand was reaching towards me as I continued to shake with fear. I wanted to swat his hand away, but fear had made my body freeze up, as if I were paralyzed.
ふざけるな！
まだ生きていたか。
Souma had stood up in front of me.
大使たちが殺された。あの人たちがそう簡単に死ぬはずがない。先輩も惑わされないでください。こんな男の言葉より信じるべきものがあるはずだ。
He's right. It wasn't a for sure thing that everyone else had lost their lives already.
惨めに這いつくばっている。そのまま見逃してやったもの。刀もなく、そんな丸腰で何ができるというのだ。
刀がなくても守ることはできる。
命令ならば命を投げ出す。バカとしか言いようがない。
Even though Cosmo was insulting him, Souma was able to bring out a pained smile. Not panicked, pain, damn it.
いや、俺が立ち上がる一番の理由は男と男の約束だ。約束したんだ。道を分かった仲間と 雪村先輩を命に変えても必ず守ると。
威勢だけはいいようだが、言葉だけでは何もできぬぞ。人間がどうあがいたところで、俺の前では無駄なことだ。
Kazuma raised his arm to swing. The blade cut through air, as if summoning the strength of the moon behind, and the sound cracked through the air, popping my ears. He won't be able to dodge that one. Souma! Get out of the way! I tried to alert him, but...
面白いことを言いますね。人間ではあなたには勝てないと。
Oh!
では、人間以外のものを相手にしてもらいましょうか。
Sanan! You've come! He was standing, silently with the intent to kill, and he unsheathed his katana. Upon seeing Sanan-san, Souma's eyes grew wide from surprise.
そんなそうちゃん、あなた亡くなったと聞いて。
詳しい話は後です。下がっていなさい、二人とも。人ならざる者たちの戦いに巻き込まれたくなければね。
なんだあの者たちは。あれも新選組なのか。
さあ、鬼の力とやらが羅刹と比べていかほどのものか、とくと見せてもらいましょうか。
The sound effect was missing. Sanan-san's hair was becoming a brilliant white, and his eyes were turning a deep crimson like a ghost. With Sanan-san's mark, the Fury Corps had emerged and charged to attack Kazuma.
Shit.
Kazuma was knocking down the Furies one by one, but after each one fell, another rose back up. No matter how many times they were stabbed, they stood unscathed like cursed immortals.
死に損ないのまがい者どもが。
Kazuma seemed to be overwhelmed by the never-ending flurry of Furies, and he jumped away.
ここまでに時間をかけすぎた。いいだろう、ここは引いてやる。だが忘れるな、鬼の娘。俺はまたいずれお前を迎えに来る。
And with that, Kazuma disappeared into the darkness. The tension was cut loose, and I crumbled to the floor, but I looked over to see Souma, who was standing dumbfounded. I think we're safe now. We have to treat your injuries.
見た目ほどの傷じゃないから平気です。それより雪村先輩、今のは何だったんですか。あの男も鬼とかまがい者とか妙なことを言っていました。それより亡くなったと聞いていた三男総長のあの姿、あれは俺の持っていたあの錦絵と同じ姿だった。
An enemy who claimed to be a demon. Warriors who rose no matter how wounded. Sanan-san, unexpectedly back from the dead. I could imagine how beyond belief these things must have seemed to Souma as they unfolded. I didn't blame him for seeming confused. I decided to not explain it to him. I wish that I could explain everything to him. At the moment, he had just tapped into so many things that were previously unknown to him. Yet all he could do was remain silent. He looked so serious, and I couldn't look at him in the eyes. I'm sorry. I can't tell you anything. But everything you saw touches upon the true secrets of the Shinsengumi. Now, more than ever. I can't be the one to tell you any information without Kondo-san's or Hichikata-san's approval. Souma didn't seem satisfied with that response, but he didn't ask any more. But if he finds out the truth, I know there's no turning back. But he's gotten involved this much, so there's no way he could anyway. But I didn't want to involve him in the taboo of my father that... But I didn't want to involve him in the taboo that my father had spread, so I kept quiet and I bowed. I'm really sorry.
わかりました。無理に聞こうとは思いません。
I thought he'd be pressing for an answer more, so I was surprised and I looked up.
先輩が黙っているのは俺を心配してくれているからですか？
Well...
俺だってそんなに鈍いわけじゃない。そのぐらいわかるつもりです。
Wait, are you aware that you're that dense then? Jesus! Souma looked troubled and his eyes thinned, and he gave a little laugh.
何よりそんな顔をされたら力ずくで話してもらうわけにもいかないじゃないですか。
I'm sorry.
雪村先輩、もう何度も謝らないでくださいよ。
I noticed my heart sink a bit in my chest as he pretended to be unfazed to me. And as much as I felt guilty about it, there was a little bit of relief too, which confused me.
相馬くん、賢明な判断に感謝します。世の中には聞くべきでないことなど無数にありますから。それにここで雪村くんが言わずとも結果的には変わりません。私が生きていたことを知った以上はすぐに土方くんから説明があるでしょうからね。